That's what we see Jay-Z has done. That's what we see Puff has done. The music don't become how you pay the bills. It's a lot of pressure off of it. You got other things bringing in income, you can make music.
This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face. Like what the fuck is going on? Who told you that song and did you know all along? And why did your bitch sell that painting 2 weeks after he was gone? I'ma tell you what it feels like. It feels a little fishy. Feels like something's going on ever since that John Legend song and Khaled's prediction of a Grammy. If you ask me, I can't stand him. Seems a little weird. Question number 1, why is there no blood? Question number 2, Sam left in the AM is true, but you're talking about the shits all up in the afternoon. Don't trip, we're gonna find out the truth soon. Who did what to who? Did they plan to eat the chili fries or was it just a surprise? Can you see the lies of witness in a cowboy's eyes? Are we gonna just sit here and forget? Are we gonna ride like Nip said? It's a little weird that the judge quit. Handing out immunities like candy makes me sick. I got a lot of unanswered questions like, why is the footage all grit and I can't see shit? Who the fuck is that white man in that white BMW? Probably was the FBI. Yeah, I noticed that white guy, and I noticed the car wasn't in the pictures when they showed them afterwards. They thought we would forget. They got that shit backwards. They weren't expecting me to drop this track and raise all these questions with my Mac words. I'm really mobbing through LA smoking backwoods. I've been doing this shit all my life. TMC, AMI. You might just see an empty parking lot when you ride by. Well, me, I see way more. I see an independently owned store. I see the community taking power back, whether you're white, Mexican, Asian, or black. As long as you're not blue. Good ones, there might be a few, but from my life experience, I'm like, fuck that. I'm not defending Eric, but what's the fucking delay? They requested a quick trial, it's been over 800 days. They try to distract us in so many clever, creative ways. Yeah, you got your Grammy, and now you're a billionaire. But what about the families that are still living there? Seems a little unfair, just a little something to compare. I never seen a fireman wearing a bulletproof vest. Yes, the shit to me seems a little suspect. The shit's a little weird. Crisis actors taking away our fathers, making our child some bastards, killing creative men and women for their masters. The waves that Nip wrote in, you didn't know it began. A bunch of new chapters. You didn't think about what would happen after. We would put the pieces together on your transparent bullshit. I can see right through it, like the clear blue sky in the LA sunny weather, where the palm trees swing side to side and we ride together on a white horse or a double R hearse in a foreign car. Either way, you gotta be on guard because they're on tap for anyone who's brown or black with tats. Everybody sees it, but nobody wants to attack. It's sad if you ask. We all gotta blast back. We're in the game, though we can't touch the ball. Seems a little unfair if you ask me, that's all. So take your ignorant ass to YouTube and type in Tanique Reviews to get the real news. We're doing the shit for justice, not views. Sharing knowledge and coming together, that's the real tool. He tried to lead us to the lake, so don't sleep on the knowledge that he gave to me and you. He wanted us to learn from his mistakes, so with our new knowledge, good decisions we could make. And also one thing I wanted to say myself, they killed Dr. Sebi because he was teaching health. Assassins, they come in all shapes and sizes, big booties, hips and thighs. Oh, you're Diddy's girl, right? Oh yeah, John Legend, some things happen at your video shoot. I got a couple questions for you. All those strings you pulled, you still can't make a rap hit. You punk ass little bitch, you probably got a little dick. All the shit that you have to did. This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face. This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face.
Here live with Tanique Reviews, and we are going to review a little bit of information we have from today's trial, which was basically some motions and jury selections. And I'm just glad to see that they're actually taking this serious. That's what I wanted to see, that they were taking it serious. And one clip already got uploaded. You guys can hear the people at the camera talking, and they're saying about time that they trying somebody for that crime that happened out there. And I say the same thing, about time they doing something. And I think a lot of these witnesses think they're going to get away with it. And it ain't going to work like that. Money Marley, what's up? See you in the building. And we got Mikey TV, B9C. He's in the building, or she's in the building. All right, glad y'all in the building today. And send a shout out to my brother. I know he's busy, from another mother, Crown Reese. Oh yeah, what it is. We're going to show you some of what happened inside of the courtroom in about a minute. I'd like to start off by saying everything on this show is alleged and used for entertainment is it for. Make sure that that's out there so everybody know uh, from the beginning what's out there. But everybody already knows. But anyway, this is de- definitely, I can tell you, there's a sense of seriousness around. What's up, Dana Miller? Dana in the building. Look at that, and David and Munoz in here too. Oh, David in there and Dana in here, and I always like to brag on our people. David came in here. He been here with us since NIP in 2019, and David's got his own record contract. We got to play David's music, let people know, where they can find your music at. Like I do Rain Cash, Rain Cash, you can get his music everywhere, man. He did 20, he did, I think it's almost 26 albums last year. Full complete albums, man. Man is actually working hard. And you know how hard it is going to the studio and do a record. And he out there just putting it out. And so we got to get your music. You just send it to me on email. And, we'll open up with your music and stuff like that so everybody can know that you out here blasting music and stuff too. You can send your music to TaniqueReviews@gmail.com and we'll get it up here and let everybody know that's our boy David. Y'all go to Apple, you go to iTunes, CDBaby.com, and look up David Munoz. He's been with us and been a supporter of this channel, and we like to support our own. But back to what I was saying, what I'm glad of in seeing this, oh, no problem, David. Anytime, bro. Anytime, man. I really appreciate you coming here. What I'm glad about in this trial is that the seriousness of this is incredible. You can feel that these prosecutors and that these defense attorneys, now Keefe Dees has a high profile defense attorney, but he's doing it pro bono. I don't know what's his reason behind doing it pro bono, but I guess we'll get to ask him once this is over with. There's don't go in here and think. I personally speaking, I don't believe unless, and listen to this, unless the prosecution has got something else other than Keefe Dees' book. I'm talking to too many lawyers from Las Vegas to LA. He told me that they won't be able to convict him on just that book. And one lawyer told me that he could do a book and say that he killed JFK and he wasn't even born. What they gonna do about it? They gonna arrest him? He wasn't even born. He can describe everything that everybody has said, put it in a book. It's a constitutional right. Nobody can do nothing about it at all whatsoever. And he said KVD could do the same thing, and he's got good explanations. And they were saying like all he got to do is produce one receipt, the receipt for $150,000 from or this, that, and the other. Just the book alone is not going to be enough. That's what they were saying. What's up, Philly Bill? We're strong when Philly are in here. We always Philly strong. When Philly in the building. Philly Bill, it's about time we started exposing the system behind this unrest. And that's, again, what I'm happy about. You're right. It's about time we're exposing the system behind the unrest. Lisa Jackson, you are so right when you said that. I mean, you are so right. It's about time. And I think a lot of people who's going to testify, they underestimate these skilled lawyers and these skilled people who are working for them. And I think we're going to get more than what we bargained for. So without any further ado, I'm going to take y'all into some of the court proceedings through some people we use and let you hear, what was being said, what is being interpreted, so you can kind of get an idea of what was going on as well too. So that's what we're going to do here. Let's switch over. All right. So this is the news, and this is what went on a little bit in the court. They were there,
It's
and
been
we're going
nearly
to hear what
30
they got to
years since
say.
the killing of rapper Tupac. It's been nearly 30 years since the killing of rapper Tupac Shakur. Now, It's been nearly
As soon
30
as this thing
years since the
decides to act
killing
right,
of
come on
rapper
now.
Tupac Shakur.
Well, I
Now,
tell you,
jury
I've had
selection.
trouble all day long with this
It's
PC
been
for some
nearly
reason.
30
Just play
years
the
since
thing.
the
You just
killing
played
of rapper
it a
Tupac.
minute ago.
Victoria Zaw here in front of Clark County Detention Center. We just wrapped up. Victoria Zaw
Said
here in
that
front
one
of
to
Clark
play.
County Detention Center. We just wrapped up an interview with.
There is something wrong with the
It's been nearly 30 years
YouTube
since
player.
the killing of rapper Tupac Shakur. Now, jury selection is underway.
Well, they really
It's been nearly
don't want
30 years since the
people to
killing
know
of
about
rapper
Pac.
Tupac Shakur.
I'm
Now, jury
having some
selection
trouble
is underway.
playing footage.
It's
This
been nearly
happened
30
earlier when I was on.
It's been nearly 30 years since the killing of
Okay.
rapper Tupac
Copy the
Shakur. Now,
brand. No,
jury
I'm not gonna do
selection is
that.
underway for the man charged in connection with the murder. The 25-year-old was hit multiple times in a drive-by shooting on the Las Vegas Strip on September 7th, 1996. He died in the hospital 6 days later. For years, who was behind the crime has been one of the biggest mysteries in hip-hop. Fast forward to 2023 and a break in the case. A man named Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is arrested and charged, accused of orchestrating Tupac's murder, revenge for an alleged attack on his nephew. Davis has made public comments about his involvement. In 2019, he published a tell-all memoir detailing that night, including that he provided the gun. He later took back his comments and has pleaded not guilty. Chris Melcher is a celebrity attorney, and he joins us now from Los Angeles. Thank you so much for being here. So he recanted these statements that were in his memoir, right? What is it that prosecutors are going to do to try to prove to the jury? Is the memoir enough to establish guilt?
Well, the prosecution believes that it is, and it's really the defendant who is the star witness for the prosecution in this case without much else to really establish that he was involved. And legally, it's enough. But I believe that the jury will require corroboration or independent proof other than this statement that he was involved. And we've yet to really see what the prosecution plans on doing to satisfy what I believe that demand of the jury will be.
And so the defense says he was selling a story for financial gain. How believable will that be to a jury? What holes does the defense need to poke in the prosecution's case?
Well, this is always difficult for the defendant to say that he is not credible. And that's what Keefe D is saying is these statements are out there. Some he's blaming on the co-author of his book, but these statements are recorded. It's him saying it. And he's just telling the jury, or he will tell the jury, don't believe me. And that's a very difficult thing for the defendant to do. But he has an explanation that he was doing this for notoriety or financial gain or to satisfy the police that were initially questioning him about this. So that's where it gets back to, I believe, a reasonable jury is going to be wanting to see evidence independent of this statement to show that he was truly connected.
What are the challenges in prosecuting a case that's nearly 30 years old?
Well, this is hard because back then in 1996, we didn't have all this digital evidence that we do now. And so jurors might be thinking, well, where is the cell phone pings showing that he was in that car on that street at that night? Or where is surveillance photos or social media posts? All that would be existing right now had it occurred today. But in 1996, it didn't. And so we're really going to rely on this person's statement and the other witnesses who will come in and say he was either there or he wasn't.
Chris Melcher, I hope to talk to you about this again. Thank you so much.
Well, you can see and you heard, you got to see still photos of Keith Davis inside a court. And that's exactly what's going to happen. They're trying to sell a bill of goods. They have no direct evidence. Just a man who admits that he gave a gun allegedly to somebody sitting in the back seat. He's never implicated himself and said that he did it. And all of this started with Greg King's book, Murder Crap, where he says that Puffy paid the Southside Crips $1 million for the hit on Suge and Tupac. And that's why you have Greg Kading, Gene Deal, Foxy Brown, and even the governor of Nevada scheduled to testify sometime this week. This was jury selection. And if they get a fair-minded jury and the jury's fair-minded and listen to the evidence, they may hate Keefe D, but that evidence better be beyond, and I mean beyond a reasonable doubt. Not just don't see it, being beyond a reasonable doubt. There's some serious doubt. Serious doubt. $150,000 and man was provided a script. That's doubt too. They ain't gotta do nothing but prove that he was given $150,000 because that's when they locked him up after he did that show at Vlad. Dana says Suge can blow this whole case out of the water if he tells the truth. So let me tell you the truth and what Suge Knight has already said, and it's on a million platforms all over the world, that Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was not the shooter at him and Tupac. He looked the shooter directly in the eye, and it was an employee of Death Row Records where he signed the employee's check. That's what Suge Knight said, and it's everywhere. So if he get up there and say something else, they may tack some more years on to him because he's already stated it 150 times that Keefe D was not the shooter that night and that he looked the shooter in the eye and know who the shooter was. And then he turned around and said later on, in fact, there was more than one shooter, but not one of them was Keefe D. And he's also said not one of them was Orlando Anderson. Now, they may wanted to take credit for it and go back and say all that because Montreal stomped the hell out of Orlando Anderson. And so, you want to go back and make it look like you did that. But Suge has said it over and over again that this guy didn't do that and he don't want this guy to go to jail for something he didn't do. But why was he going around saying that? Because Greg Kading was trying to boost that stupid book murder crap and dice up and switch up the stories and all of that kind of stuff. Thought he could make himself a living and live off these two people who were misfortunate. And it didn't work that way for him either, but they're trying anyway. So whether Vegas wins or lose, their thought is, you know what, we can look at the people and say, at least we tried. They don't really care. I don't know why African-American people who claim they're Tupac fans believe that other races of people care about us. If other races of people care about us, that black girl in North Carolina wouldn't have never sit there and had a man beat the living white man, Hispanic, what the hell he was, beat the living stank out of her, and she has psychological challenges. If other races cared about us, that black girl in Mississippi would not be hung on a tree so high that the fire department had to get their biggest truck with their longest ladder to go up in the tree and get her. And she was hanging up there for at least 4 days. All right. And you see no buses going down to Mississippi. And my whole point in the matter is this generation certainly ain't like the generation I came from in the 60s. When they want to help Mississippi, people went down there. Y'all know about the 2 Jewish boys that died and the black boy that died. They were down there fighting for people to have the right to vote. The same thing that your current administration is trying to take away from you. All those people died so you could have a right to vote, and they're trying to take it away from black people in this generation. Ain't got nothing better to do than to sit back and take fentanyl, smoke weed, and I hope you look down at your kids and ask yourself what kind of world you gonna leave for them. Um, so I don't know what people think when you come to this trial that all these white folks, white judges, white lawyers, why y'all think they care so much about Pac? Because you can think what you want to think. I have my own opinion about that, and I just believe, and there's no question about it, that these cops, which were hired by Reggie Wright Jr., Suge has made that clear. He only hired Bloods. Reggie Wright Jr., Reggie Wright Jr., hired these cops. Kevin Gaines, David Mack, It's Kevin Gaines again, Rafael Perez, and David Mack, Nino Durden. He hired these people, and in my opinion, it was dirty cops that shot Tupac. Whether he died 6 days later or not, I don't know. I didn't see it, but they shot Tupac and they shot Suge as well too. Dirty cops did that. That's why, as Suge said, if you saw one, you saw the other, because the same group of guys that stretch all the way back to Rampart are the guys that did this. That's the bottom line. That's who did this. And this story was concocted by Reggie Wright Jr. because Greg Kading came to interview Reggie Wright Jr. And that's where when he first got Biggie's case, he was trying to arrest Reggie. Then he heard all these other stories Reggie said about Poochie Faust and all of that stuff like that. And then he, blamed these people, and Greg saw the opportunity to do books and stuff like that and thought he was going to live off this stuff, man. And Frank Alexander was going with Greg Kading's sister, allegedly. And she cleaned horses and stuff like that. I got pictures of her doing it. What's up, Manny?
Man, what's up?
You got the best hand, man. If I had yours, I'd trade mine here.
Right, I like that one. Yeah, I'm a little confused about with Suge. See, I think that Suge, what he did was he said that he said that Keefe did it, and he did say Keefe. Well, he said Keefe told him that he did it when they was at the L.A. Lakers game. So he went from Keefe doing it, then he went to Snoop doing it, then he went to Tupac being alive, and now he's saying Reggie did it. I think Suge is creating all of this so he can get deemed as an unreliable witness.
No, you misunderstanding what Suge said. When Suge said Reggie did it, he means Reggie orchestrated it. Just like he said in the video I got, he called for extra bodyguards after the fight. Reggie refused to send them. He said that Reggie orchestrated it. Reggie called them while they were at the house and told them not to go the way that they were going to go a different way. And as soon as they go that way, a bike police officer stopped them. And the bike police officer wanted to see what was in the back of the BMW. And so he's in the back of the BMW. Nobody even know really why he back there. But they make it look like he was back there because of loud music. But I say he was back there to drop one of them things in the back of the car. So when they got to the red light, they could change it red, and then they would hold that red light. Because if you go back and listen to all the testimony, that was the longest red light I ever heard of in history.
I know, right?
Well,
I was thinking the same thing, but I never spoke on it.
Yeah, all this stuff going on, that light was still red until it turned, and then they pulled off. Well, you can make a right turn, so shooters eventually made a right turn, but that light was still red.
Yeah, but the people in the entourage definitely left that lane open. But if you believe that, then you surely believe that George Calisis was involved because he had Vegas in the palm of his hands. The cops or everybody do whatever he say.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Kenner.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Pac really embarrassed Kenner and Reggie
Yeah.
when he fired them. He fired David Kenner. And
Yep.
how you feel somebody fire you, you got them out of jail and hustled up the money. So what Suge was telling Pac at the crib was real simple. That you fired David Kenner, you pissed Reggie off, and Pac tried to make it up with Reggie, but Reggie has stated over and over and over again that he didn't like Tupac. And
Yeah.
it's evident that Tupac didn't like him. Let me let you listen to what Suge got to say about it. And you can go from there.
It was blocked in. It was more than one shooter. Only person know the truth, the real truth, is me and Tupac. He's not there to tell it. Only person knows is myself. But Reggie Wright Jr. tried to change the whole story of the narrative, what actually happened, and he was not there. During that situation, Snoop, who everyone knew at the time, wanted Tupac dead. Snoop had a meeting with Daz, Corrupt, Nate Dogg, the Dog Pound. Said, we're not going to Vegas. This is their words, not mine. We're not going to Vegas because basically something's going to happen. Somebody's going to get killed, right? So Corrupt tells the story. Daz tells the story. Warren G tells the story. Now, what Daz says, when Snoop said that, I said, damn, we can't go to Vegas. Who's going to get those niggas? They already going to get got, basically. Corrupt tells the story and says, once he tells everybody they can't go to the fight and can't go to Vegas, turns around, Nate Dogg says, I'm going to go to Vegas. Then because I'm going to Vegas, I don't got to be around basically me and Pac. He said, as long as I ain't around them, I don't have to worry about getting shot or getting a stray bullet. That lets you know, premeditated plan. Warren G says, when the fight was going on, he was watching at his house. Snoop came over to watch the fight. Snoop had a walkie-talkie. These walkie-talkies, he only got this walkie-talkie that I bought for security and the principal that security doing security with. And they worked on all the West Coast. So if you're an artist and you going to the mall or you're going somewhere, they have a walkie-talkie, security have a walkie-talkie. If you're not going to an event with any of the security details, you don't have a walkie-talkie. Because I didn't buy that many because I wanted to be exclusive. They had them out who was needed. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so Snoop comes in, according to Warren G, and he got this big walkie-talkie. They start hearing the gunshots. When we getting shot, Snoop listening to it in real time. Pow, 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 all over the radio. That's when he tell him, hey, I got to go. They just killed Tupac and shot Suge. How would you know? Nobody sat there on the radio. You just heard the shots. Now,
then he had this the next tail back then. Remember the motherfucker? Yeah. I don't know what kind of next tail he had, but he had the motherfucker could go that whatever it was hitting him all the way from what was going on from Vegas. So they was like, we could hear the shit, and then he started getting calls and shit, and they was telling him that Tupac got shot and this, that, and this. So Snoop, I kicked everybody out. Get the fuck out of here, everybody. Get out of here. And he took off. That's when he went to Vegas to go see him, to get out there to see what was going on. And that's when he went out there when he went to the hospital. But if I wouldn't have talked to him and got him to come over to my house, he probably would have been right there in the car with them. Homies, gang of home.
This is the facts. It's a guy named Reggie Wright Jr. who did security for Death Row with off-duty police officers or guys with CCW. Reggie Wright Jr. told the security they can't carry firearms.
Reggie Wright told us not to carry any weapons.
Pac hated Reggie Wright Jr., so he had fired him. So after the fight, Tupac got into it with another guy. It was a big fight. I told all the security, I told everyone, send 4 or 5 guys extra to escort Tupac to the club. Reggie Wright Jr. refused to send the security guys, refused to show up. That wasn't a coincidence. It was a murder for hire hit. We was blocked in. It was more than one shooter. Reggie Wright Jr. and Michael Moore in the car. They get on the radio, and they say, hey, got him.
I heard something over the Nextels that we all carry for security, and what I heard was, got him.
A lot of crooked cops got involved in hip-hop. Those same crooked cops, they caused the biggest 2 rappers in hip-hop history, Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls, their life.
You see, so Suge has been straight with everything that he basically said from day one.
Okay.
And if I really don't know you, you ain't been around the show, it's gonna be a little difficult to get up here. You know, just letting you know, we gotta be very careful with people we let up here. But go ahead, man.
Okay, this is what I want to say, brother Tanique. If I think anybody solved this, I want to give you flowers now. I believe that you did it. I've been around since way back. I got put on to you by XCon.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Remember that?
yeah,
years
right.
ago. So I believe that you solved it. I just think that because it's mixed up, this, that, and the third, everybody's saying stuff. But I want to visit in your archive something you said long time ago, something you brought to the internet. That conversation with Sharitha and Reggie about the check. Now check this out. Sharitha Sharitha got hooked up with Suge through Reggie. So Sharitha is definitely tight with Reggie. Which Sharitha was running the Crip side of Death Row, basically Snoop Dogg. She was their managers.
Right, and
So
then she left with Snoop and went on tour for over 9 months, and then came back with a baby. But I'm gonna leave that alone.
right. So if we're gonna let's go back to your old work. If that's the case, then should if we're gonna use that, which I believe is more closer to the truth than anything, right? Then you gotta put Keefe D in there because that's the Crip Alliance right there. And Snoop Dogg was on Big Dre album after Tupac died. So
Okay, I don't want you to go too far. Let's take a look at that. You got to put Keefe D back further than that, okay?
mhm,
Because Keefe D was hanging out with Puffy, and because Keefe D got busted for a lot of PCP. That's what they did. What they could, Keefe D already had, he would have got life in prison for the amount of drugs that they busted him with. Now, here's what happened that y'all not paying attention to. Greg Kading cut a deal not to put Keefe D in jail for all that PCP he busted him with if he would come up with this damn story. That's how this came about. That's why everybody's not looking at. That's why Keefe said he stopped doing all that stuff because he had got busted by Greg Kading with enough PCP to be put away forever. They used that against him, and all he had to do is go around and say that he gave the gun to somebody in the back, and he would have a Los Angeles profit deal, not a federal profit deal, but a
mhm,
profit deal over the law in Los Angeles. The profit deal was not to be prosecuted for what he said about this case. The profit deal was so he wouldn't be prosecuted about the PCP that he got busted with, and it was
mhm.
a lot. That's what people don't understand. He was supplying cocaine and stuff to New York, allegedly to Puffy and Zip. He was supplying them. He was a major drug dealer. I don't know if he's a major crip, but I know he was really balling in drugs back then. What's up, Pam? And that's what he's trying to tell you. Now that's how Keefe D got a proper deal. People think that that's all tied up to this case, but it's really tied up to the PCP, the drugs that he was. I mean, he was busted with enough drugs that he would be in prison right now. I mean, a lot of PCP, and they would let that go away if he would come out and claim that he got $1 million from Puffy Heart. Because you go back, remember when Biggie was riding around getting tattoos and stuff in Los Angeles?
Yep.
He riding with Keefe D now.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
so he riding with Keefe D, sitting in the back with Keefe D and all of the riders, the other gang bangers, the Bloods, they all see him riding with Keefe D, the Southside Crips. Because remember what Reggie said. Puffy even called right way security and
Mhm.
told them every single place that Biggie was going to be. I got him laughing, got him actually saying it. I think I'm going to pull that video up later on. And he was saying that Puffy gave me, he was talking directly to Reggie, gave him every detail of where Biggie was going to be. And Reggie told him he couldn't do it. So Reggie, allegedly, is the one who hooked Puffy up with the Inglewood cop who was supposed to have been guarding them that night.
That's what I was
Okay.
getting ready to say. Yeah.
Yeah, the Inglewood cop I think this is the same cop now who took the gun from Hussein Fatal.
Yeah. That make
That
you know what? I didn't look at that part right there. That
I'm
makes
telling
sense
you,
because mhm.
look at the paperwork. Don't listen to all these people who getting $50,000 and $150,000 talking. If you follow the paper trail, just like Vegas did, it took them 30 years, but the paper trail led them to a certain place. Now, whether or not they can prove it, I don't know. They got their hands tied up. But I personally believe that Keefe D didn't do it. I know he was going to jail. I know how much PCP that they caught him with. He's
Mhm.
even responsible for Wayman Anderson being in jail. Uh,
Mhm.
That was huge. Wayman Anderson is in jail for something he didn't do. In fact, I know the pastor where Wayman Anderson was in Jackson, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Wayman Anderson, I forget the song he redid. He did a song and stuff, became famous and stuff like that. He was down with a pastor that I knew. The pastor's dead now. I think his son is pastoring a church in Jackson, Mississippi. And they blamed him for something that he didn't even do, that Keefe D. was allegedly, according to Wayman Anderson, behind that. All right, so
Yeah,
there's a
his
lot of
name was
crooked.
Suave, right? I
Yeah,
remember seeing that
Suave.
on your
That's
channel.
right. Hey, that's right, Suave. And he was in, now keep in mind, he was in Jackson, Mississippi with a pastor I know at church when the crime that they accused him of went down. The pastor testified and everything, and they still put Wayman Anderson in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And
Let me
Wayman,
ask you a question. Okay,
Mhm.
so let me ask you a question. Who do you think killed Buntry?
Well, I tell the story all the time. I'm gonna go back to what Kevin Hackey said. Kevin Hackey said that Reggie Wright Jr. called him and asked him would he come and drop his father off somewhere. Kevin Hackey said, I told Reggie, you may get me, but you won't get me that easy. I'm not taking your father nowhere. I don't want to drive your new car. I don't care what kind of car it is. All right. So then Reggie called Montreal, and Montreal got in the car and went to the gas station and wound up getting shot up like that. While a police officer inside the gas station, why ain't he shooting back?
Mm-hmm. Right. So you believe that basically Reggie was crippling Suge in a circle, pretty much.
Had Suge, had Montreal been alive, Montreal would have been the president of Death Row Records because that was Suge's right hand man. That's who Suge trusted the most. He wouldn't have never gave it to Reggie. So anybody who look, I'll give you this idea. So when they tricked Miss Chalet, y'all don't even talk about that. How Miss Chalet thought she was marrying Suge, and she actually married Suge's brother-in-law, Norris Anderson.
Wow.
Because he was standing in for Suge, but she married Norris Anderson. Because and anyway, she thought she was running the record company, and they hit her, and they were gonna put her in jail, and she told everything she know. So now Suge got to find somebody else. So anybody who was in over that record, you can see he didn't want to give it to Reggie because he gave it to Norris first. Norris couldn't run it. Then he gave it to Miss Chalet. Miss Chalet couldn't run it. And Reggie was still there. And finally, he wound up running the record company. He was going up telling Suge a bunch of stuff. You know what, Suge, what? These niggas out here riding around on motorcycles and riding on these old cars you bought them and stuff like that. And they don't even care about you being up here. Suge didn't say anything. Reggie said he's gonna come back and take those cars and motorcycles, and that's how these guys lost their cars and motorcycles and stuff like that. It wasn't Suge that took them. He said Reggie Reggie said Suge gave him permission, but it's not true. Otherwise, that would be recorded and the FBI would have it. Suge didn't do any talking while he was in jail, in his bunk, anywhere, because he knew the FBI was gonna record him. No talking. So
What
Suge,
if this Teresa Swan girl is really Miss Chalet? Because I find it strange that she's not being called in. You know, where is she at?
no, she's there. And in fact, if you really wanted to know who she was, all you had to do was look up Club 662 because it wasn't her name, her real name.
Okay.
Club 662 was not in Suge's name. It was in her name.
Yeah, I wonder why she ain't come up with. I wonder if she going to be testifying or being questioned.
Because Greg Kading promised her some stuff too. These are all the witnesses that should be here in this trial.
Yeah, it's just this case is just it's just it's all I wish we can put it together. You get what I'm saying? It's just here and there, and and when it comes to the Tupac shooting, it could be four people. It could be it could be Kevin
Rafael
Gaines,
Perez, David Mack,
Mac, Nino Durden,
Nino Durden,
Kevin Hackey.
Reggie Wright Jr. Suge said it was a employee of Death Row Records that he paid.
Hmm.
Crooked cops. Now, there wasn't that many crooked cops. Frank Alexander and Michael Moore and those guys were security officers. They had concealed carry permits, but they weren't cops. There wasn't but one cop who was on the legitimate payroll, other than I can't think of his name. Givens. Givens had a real security company, and he made Right Way Security a subsidiary of his security company. That's how Right Way came about.
Yeah, they need to bring need Chief Bernard Parks to come and testify too, because I saw in the documentary where he said the cops was doing off duty, so that that could be that could help as well.
Yeah, Robbie. Listen, man, listen. That's why I say people don't understand. Look at the cops that were hired by Reggie Ray Jr. All you have to do is type in YouTube Rampart. Okay? Now, Rampart came about, and I played it 1,000 times, and people don't get it. When Frank Liger shot and killed Kevin Gaines on purpose, we know it's on purpose because we got him on tape saying it was on purpose. And his biggest regret that it wasn't a bunch of more niggers in the car with Kevin Gaines. That's what his biggest regret was. He would have shot them all. So he's a racist. Now, when Frank Liger killed Kevin Gaines, the black officers who were friends with Kevin Gaines, Rafael Perez, David Mack, Nino Durden, they decided to get Frank Liger allegedly. And what actually happened was Frank Liger came into a big drug bust of cocaine in Los Angeles, and Rafael Perez stole it. And he replaced it with I think
Baking
baby
soda,
powder.
yeah.
It was baby powder or flour. And eventually he got busted. He wrote somebody by the name of Mario Perez or something like that. And they arrested Rafael Perez, and Rafael Perez turned in more than 70 allegedly crooked officers. And that's how the whole, well, just take a listen to this.
LA police detective who was caught on tape making derogatory comments about fellow officers and talking about shooting people has been relieved of duty. Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson is live at police headquarters with the latest on the investigation into Frank Liger. Alex.
Well, Michelle, tonight I spoke with a LAPD spokesman who said that the reason that Liger is being relieved of duty is, quote, new information about him. But he says he can't specify what exactly that new information is. Detective Frank Liger is relieved of LAPD duty. He'll work from home, but must turn in his badge, gun, and department vehicle. All this after the leaking of a secretly recorded tape of Liger speaking at the LAPD Academy last November.
Sometimes I tell the truth to the point where it's detrimental to me.
In the tape, Liger blasts many of his fellow officers, including Lieutenant Paul Vernon.
Lieutenant Vernon is a moron.
And Captain Lillian Carranza.
Very cute little Hispanic lady who couldn't find her ass with both her hands.
In 1997, Liger shot and killed fellow officer Kevin Gaines, who was undercover at the time. He talked about it with the class.
I regret that he's alone in the truck at the time. Figure that one out. You know, they didn't hear that? Alone in the truck at the time. I could have killed a whole truckload of them. And would have been happily doing it.
At the time, the city paid Gaines' family a $250,000 settlement. Still, Liger was cleared of any wrongdoing and continued working. He would later bring in a massive amount of cocaine as evidence that was then, quote-unquote, checked out and stolen by Officer Rafael Perez. It was unclear if Liger was being set up by Perez, who was angry about the killing of Gaines. This launched the Rampart.
So why in God's name would Reggie Wright hire Rafael Perez to work for Death Row Records, knowing that this man had been arrested? He got a criminal record. He had stole drugs, and his father knew all them people. Reggie Wright Sr. Why would he do that? I mean, I would hire, if I was going to hire some cops. Trust me, it wouldn't be cops that was fired for stealing evidence out the locker room. That's why Snoop Dogg free. Snoop Dogg is not free because he was innocent of killing Philip Walter Merriam. Snoop Dogg is free because the same cops went and stole the evidence when it was time for the prosecution to present the evidence. it was not in the evidence locker. It was stolen. That's why Suge saved. He saved Snoop Dogg. He did.
And you know what's strange? Yeah, I remember that, and I know that happened, right? But you know what's strange? When Tupac did the movie, what was it, gang related? That same scene where the gun got stolen out the evidence locker. I think they got that from Death Row. Think
I
about
agree.
it.
I agree with you. But you gotta listen to my question. Why would this man hire Rafael Perez, David Mack, Nino Durden? They shot a boy. His name is something Javier, and left him in a wheelchair and lied on this boy. And he spent a couple of years in prison. LA had to pay him $15 million. He didn't even do anything. He didn't die, and he survived and was able to sue the Los Angeles Police Department. Why would you turn around now and hire these guys to watch your rap artist?
I know why, because they was taking hits.
Exactly.
And I remember the story with Javier. I think I forget what his name is, but that's the Hispanic guy that was in a wheelchair, that got put in a wheelchair from Rafael Perez.
Right.
He described Rafael Perez. He said if he was walking in the dark alley at night, he'd rather deal with Satan himself before he run into Rafael Perez.
And I believe exactly what E.J. Bird is saying here. He's saying that allegedly David Kenner sent um, uh, to have Kevin Gaines killed, and I believe it. What happened was all this killing and stuff. Kevin Gaines started to having psychological breakdowns. People not paying attention. If me and you doing something, and you starting to break down psychologically, and hey man, that involves my freedom, and we talking serious time in prison. We talking possibly 2 murders. Oh no, bro, you got to go. You know, you can have a psychological breakdown in heaven and let Jesus fix it. But I'm not finna let you walk around here, have a psychological breakdown mad because you didn't kill 2 people and turn everybody in the outfit. And so that's what was happening to Kevin Gaines. Kevin Gaines was
Yeah.
going crazy, got on the phone, called 911, reported a shooting, and described himself. And the
So they
police
had to
is
shut him up.
yeah, and because he was going to talk. And so they, I believe, dispatched Frank Liger, and Frank Liger killed Kevin Gaines. That's your arm that came out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Rafael Perez, allegedly, according to Michael Douglas Carlin, was at the Peterson Museum when Biggie got shot and was picking up the shells. The shells
Yeah.
that were shot, Rafael Perez, allegedly, according to Michael Douglas Carlin, was picking up those shells.
Yeah.
What's he
And
doing picking up shells? You just saw him arrested.
they said he went to verify Biggie body too.
What for?
Because make sure he's dead.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see it, yeah. But I'm just saying, my point is now, why would you bring people like that into death row to do anything if you didn't want them to do something crooked?
Exactly. I'm gonna answer it like how Snoop cousin Joe Cool and C Style said it. He said we had the gang members for do the gang stuff. And he said, and when the cops rushed us, we had death row cops. They will rush them to be crooked.
Right.
Yep, that's the answer. Yep, to take hits, and do crimes and get away with it. Even Layla
Eh,
Steinberg said that she introduced David Mack to David Mack knew Tupac before he even got to Death Row because Tupac did a video shoot with in the Bay with Mac what's the
Digital Underground?
no before
No,
Digital
Pac
Underground.
wasn't around. Pac wasn't around with Mac Dre was around because I was up
Not
there.
Mac Dre. Not Mac Dre. What's his name? The
E40?
little no, it wasn't E40. E40 and them was around, but it was Ray Love, but it's a video shoot. Tupac directed the video. It's the little short guy from the Bay Area.
Uh, I think I know who you're talking about. He live in Atlanta now.
Yeah,
I can't think of his name right now.
yeah, Mac something. No, isn't the Mac Ball or something like that? But Tupac directed his video, and Layla Steinberg says she introduced David Mack because she was his manager when he was running track and field, and for the Olympics, whatever. And she introduced him to Tupac. So David Mack and Tupac became friends.
Wow, man. And see, that's what I'm talking about. But the point that I want to bring out is that, again, I want you to like circle this down with a pen. The
Yeah.
reason why Keefy D got a proper deal was because he was busted with a lot of PCP, enough
Mm-hmm.
that would gave him life in prison. So they
Yeah.
didn't care about the drugs. At least Greg Kading didn't. So
Mm-hmm.
after Keefy D got his proper, and that's a lot that's going to be talked about in court. They're going to be talking about this proper deal that Greg Kading gave. That's why Greg got to come testify.
Mm-hmm.
And you got this guy. Look at it this way. If you want to know who caused this shooting, Greg Kading, or who caused this stuff, Greg Kading should have never gave KBD a proper deal. You got this man clean cut on PCP. All you got to do is lock him up and put him in jail.
Yeah, and
No,
even if you did, and to put it this way, even if you did thought he killed Tupac, you still should have put him away regardless. You get what I'm saying? You right. He should have put him away regardless. That's just say if he did knew he killed Tupac and Biggie, but you caught him with all the drugs, you got him on that, and that's gonna put him away for life. Just put him away. But he didn't because he needed somebody to blame.
yeah, because he wanted to do a book and because he knew that LAPD was going to fire him because he messed up another drug case. This is not the only drug case that Greg Kading looked up. Y'all ain't never looked him up online and looked at how the LAPD rebuked him and let him go.
Mm-hmm.
For he messed up the biggest drug case in LA history. Now, whether he
Mm-hmm.
did that on purpose or not, who knew? But LA gave a scathing report about him and the kind of person he was as a cop, a horrible one. And that's the reason why they let him keep his pension, because they got some problems in the LAPD. Whether or not they straighten it out, I don't know. Soon as we think that they straighten it out, then we got the Nipsey Hussle situation,
Mm-hmm.
where they are the same Rampart guys with a new name are watching Nipsey since 2011.
Right? Could we take it a little deeper? How about this? Remember when someone said, I can't remember where I saw that. Someone said that Compton was using they helicopters. I think it was a detective by the name of Homicidio or something
Yeah,
like
at
that.
one time, Compton, which ain't but about 8 blocks long,
Yeah, right.
had
They
like
was
10,
using
12, had like 10, 12 helicopters, and ironically, sold one to Las Vegas for $1.
yeah, and they was using those helicopters, according to him, I believe, that they was flying drugs from the Mexico
Mexico
from,
to Los
yeah,
Angeles. See, the
yeah,
FAA, and this is one of the reasons Reggie right now got mad because I brought this out. The FAA does not monitor helicopters
especially
at
not
all.
cops.
No, they don't monitor, period. It
Yeah,
could be yours. They
yeah,
don't monitor helicopters until helicopters crash. As
yeah.
long as the helicopter don't crash, you can fly over the border of Mexico and fly back over the border of America. The FAA not monitoring you. So they could
Yeah.
use those 12 helicopters and fly and bring as much drugs as they wanted to into the Compton area.
And then someone else said something. I know Reggie also on Young Dolph case too, right? So far as dealing marijuana, right? I saw that on some paperwork somewhere. But my thing is this: is Reggie was linked to the Peter Roll Mafia Crips, right?
Yeah, he was
And
delivering a gun, dope to Memphis, and him and his father got busted for it. That's why he had to go to jail.
okay, so if you tie that together, so Reggie might been the one, him the whole time, him and his father dealing with that whole Iran Contra scandal.
All
You
I
get what I'm
know
saying?
is, yeah, a young Dolph was out in Los Angeles, and he was
Yeah.
out there on Snoop Dogg's dime visiting Snoop because Snoop was his favorite rapper. He shouldn't have never got shot if he was out there with Snoop.
Oh, see, it keep going back to the Crip alliance, and
Exactly. That was the first time Dolph got shot. He got shot being out there under Snoop's dime because he wanted to be. You remember he put Snoop in one of his videos. Snoop was his favorite rapper. Okay, fine. He go out there with Snoop at and he gets shot the first time. He survived that, made it back. Then he gets shot up in North Carolina. But he was in a bulletproof vehicle and he survived that. And then finally, the last time around, the Makita's cookies, he didn't survive that.
Yeah. So could it be that could it be allegedly that Death Row uh, uh, storing drugs, processing it all at Death Row? Because if you listen to
I don't think Death Row was, but I think Reggie and the Grape Street Crips were.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. Joe Cool and them said it was drugs up at pounds and pounds of cocaine and all that stuff at Death Row. And if you listen to what's that Mob James baby mother, she said that they was it was pounds and pounds of drugs up there being moved at Death Row.
Well, I'm gonna go with Kevin Hackey. Kevin Hackey was hired in 1991, and he was an FBI agent.
Yeah,
And his main reason for being hired in 91, this is long before Tupac ever came there. His
yeah,
main reason for being hired there was to find a drug connection with Death Row, and he never could. Now, there may be drugs that they could do, snort, smoke while they were up there, but such as moving drugs, Kevin Hackey could not find none. If anybody could have found it, Kevin Hackey could have found it. So he never found Death Row was like
yeah,
pushing drugs like that. But if you read the scathing report of the federal government about Reggie Wright Jr. and the Grape Street Crips, they probably were doing it. And Reggie worked for Death Row, and since he was the head of the alleged Grape Street Crips, he could have been pushing drugs and stuff like that. But Death
yeah,
Row Records was really making records. Y'all.
yeah.
I remember when Snoop Dogg's album came out,
I know it was on
bro.
fire.
Bro, I was at a place, I don't know if y'all heard of this. It's called Tower Records.
I heard of that.
I was at Tower Records with it must have been about 500 people trying to get Snoop Dogg's first album that Dre put out. Snoop Dogg was the hardest album, to me, the hardest rap album ever when it came out. I ain't never seen lines like that at all of the Tower Records in the state I was in. It was like that, man. They sold out of Snoop Dogg's album and stuff like that, and tapes and everything was gone. It
Yeah,
was
that gin and juice and all that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so I say this. Death Row was a huge success with Dre, with Snoop. That was some huge
yes,
stuff, man. So Suge was putting out music, and he was making those guys work. And anybody tell you that? I had a guy out here today who actually worked with Suge Knight and them, Lamar, and they would tell you that this man made these guys work. They wasn't joking around. He wasn't playing in the studio. They were actually pushing out records and pushing out records, and the company became worth $500 million.
yeah,
$500 million on records, not drugs. I'm not
yeah,
saying drugs wasn't around, but man, you ain't got to pump no drugs. When All Eyes on Me came out, double platinum CD, in less than a week, I think what 5 million was sold.
yeah. They was and then you got to think about his single. I think that went 3 times platinum with "Hit 'Em Up" and "California Love" and all that. Yeah, he Tupac made them a lot of money, a
Oh,
whole lot of money.
but the money that Tupac was talking about while they being audited, it had nothing to do with the records he did at Death Row. Tupac was
Yeah,
not scheduled to get any money from Death Row for All Eyes on Me and stuff until October.
yeah,
That's how royalties and stuff work. It would have been in October. The
yeah.
money Tupac was screaming about, he had put David Kenner and Suge in charge of Poetic Justice, in charge of Brenda's Got a Baby, I Get
Me Against the
Around.
World.
They
Yeah,
right, Me Against the World, the $5 million that Jimmy Iovine and Ted Fields owed him, and they wouldn't give it to his mother while he was on lockdown. They were supposed to go get that money and stuff, and they never gave it to him. And
yeah,
so that's why he wanted to audit for that money. The money from Death Row was not even due until October of 1996.
yeah. That makes sense.
That
That's
audit, that
yeah,
audit ended the friendship between Suge and Tupac. I don't care what anybody says. That's why Suge was late getting down there. He was telling Pac, man, you made some enemies, big enemies. I ain't talking about rappers and stuff like that. You fired David Kenner. You shouldn't have did David Kenner's alleged mobster. You fired Reggie Wright Jr. and Reggie Wright Jr. got some pretty big high connections. And he was trying to get Pac to smooth that stuff out, but it was too late because they already decided to shoot them up.
Yeah, because
They decided to take Death Row Records. That was a hit for Suge.
Pac didn't know how deep he was in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm this case definitely got me curious. I definitely spent 30 years of my life trying to figure it out.
They're
Definitely.
not gonna ask the questions that needed in this case because they don't want to solve it. You don't see
Yeah.
Frank Lager there. Frank Lager got to be a part of this, and they waited till Miss Wallace died, and Afeni, everybody you would need to really testify. You don't see David Mack. Yeah, he belong here. Rafael Perez. Yeah, he belong up here too. He should be questioned. They ain't on no list.
Yeah.
Come on, man, give me a break. They ain't on no list.
Right. You right. It just don't make sense. A lot of stuff don't make sense.
Do you think they're gonna have Frank Lager on here? Man, please.
No. Absolutely not. He definitely ain't gonna be on there.
He should be here. He living down there, living good. They gave him his
Yeah.
pension and everything. Despite killing the officer, there is no statute of limitations on murder. He
Yeah.
admitted that he murdered Officer Kevin Gaines. That was an admission that I murdered an officer. I knew who the officer was, and my only regret that more Negroes wasn't in the car with him. Okay, why ain't Frank Lager arrested?
Yeah. They ain't gonna arrest him
Because
because
he said if he mess with him, he gonna tell some stuff that's gonna bring the entire LAPD down. The state police going to take over, and they left him alone. Gave him his retirement and left him alone.
send about his business. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's wild, man. The only thing we got is Suge. So all we got is Suge.
One thing people don't understand: Suge Knight is smart. He's very smart, and Suge is not gonna go in there get himself in trouble. No, he still got like 18 more years to do in prison. He not, and he been claiming he not that kind of guy. He was never gonna testify and stuff like that. But I found out that the prosecution subpoenaed Suge Knight to testify.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't like volunteer to testify. The prosecution subpoenaed Suge Knight to testify, and that's
Yeah,
the reason why.
Suge need
Go
to
ahead.
do it, man. He owed the fans that, man. He got to bring this to rest. They need to just go ahead and offer him some kind of deal if he talk and testify and give him time served. That would be nice, even though I know they ain't gonna do it.
I don't know. You don't know what kind of deal they made with Suge. It depends on his testimony. You know whatever it is he's going to say. You know,
And
like
then
I say,
you know something? Suge shouldn't even be locked up anyway.
no, he sure shouldn't, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because that right there was self-defense, I believe. Yep.
It definitely was. All them
Yeah.
guys up there with guns and stuff like that and stuff and punching the guy in the car. I would have ran him over too.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a mistake that he ran over Terry Carter, because we all know him and Terry was friends. Suge would have never did that. Yep. Terry was I guess a victim of circumstances or a victim,
Man,
you know what I mean,
yeah,
by
man.
mistake.
Suge Knight, I think he had just ain't been that long, got out of the hospital from being shot at that event Chris Brown had.
Yeah.
He wasn't in no fighting condition. They were trying to take advantage of him while he was weak.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
asked him to come down to the studio set. He didn't force his way down there. They called him to come down there. And when he went down there to meet with the person he's supposed to meet with, he almost walked into his death.
Yep. And he had to do what he had to do to get out of
And,
there.
and the same person did the same thing to Eazy-E. Had
Yep.
Eazy-E meet him, and Eazy-E went to meet him. When Eazy-E went to meet him, he wound up meeting Suge and a group of the guys that was with Suge, and doing the same thing that Pooh Shiesty did to Gucci Mane. Forced
Mm-hmm.
Eazy-E to sign the contract freeing Dr. Dre, and Eazy-E got up and did the same thing. Wrote every record company and told everybody that he was forced to sign that. And
Mm-hmm.
it was Jimmy Iovine that paid and got Dre out of that stuff.
See, I think Suge never thought in a million years that Dre would try him in Compton. That's why he went there.
What you mean?
By Dre, when he went to go meet Dre, he met Dre in Compton with
You mean
with
when he
her.
went to meet when he met Easy E, right?
No, Dre, Easy E, but Suge met him in Compton as well. Dre when he ran over Terry Carter. That was in Compton.
Right.
Yeah, so Suge probably thought in a million years, probably wouldn't think in a million years that Dre would try to do some harm or have some harm done to him in Compton. But little did he know he was wrong. Cause Suge went up
Yeah.
there by himself.
Yep.
So he ain't believe it. He probably like, you know what I mean? Dre ain't gonna try nothing in Compton. Not on me, and went up there. Yep. But
And
I
you talk
still go ahead.
somebody down here said you was talking about Mac Mall.
Yeah, Mac Mall. That's it. Yep, Mac Mall.
Yeah, Mac
Yeah,
Mall. I was
that's
up,
where
I was up, I was
Layla.
up there with Mac Dre and them. Mac Dre was something else, man. Mac Dre was a hellified rapper, man.
Yeah,
Great
Mac.
party tunes. I was
Yeah,
living in
Tupac
Vallejo at that
directed
time.
that. Directed his video shoot, and that's where Layla Steinberg introduced David Mack to Tupac because David Mack told Layla Steinberg he wanted to start doing uh, off duty security for rappers. And he got his first start with Pac through the strength of Layla Steinberg. That's why Layla Steinberg, when she said David Mack was at the Peterson, she was for sure because she knew David Mack. She was his coach.
And there's David Mack right there.
Yep. She introduced him to Pac. She knew David Mack since 1988.
Wow. And here's David Mack with Rafael Perez.
Yep. Yep. hmm So let me ask you a question. You think Kevin Gaines killed Biggie, right?
No
Allegedly.
question. I think Kevin Gaines killed Biggie and was one of the shooters that shot at Pac and Suge as well too.
You know what I find interesting? If you look at that first picture that was drawn by the sketch artist, it does look like Kevin Gaines,
Look, just like
e-
Kevin Gaines. Yep.
and even Frank Lager said he thought it was Kevin Gaines. But I remember you said it first years ago, I think.
Yep. And Kevin Gaines, no question in my mind. The other shooter, I wonder about too, but I believe that Officer Kevin Gaines shot Tupac, Suge, and he really owed them too. Because remember, I didn't heard stories from people on the West Coast about how Suge really did Kevin Gaines like a dog, man. Had some people even beat him up, and then when he caught him with Sharitha in Las Vegas,
Took him
took
out
him
in
out,
the
stripped him
desert.
naked and stuff like that. So this guy's got pride. At some point in time, he's gonna do something. That hit would have been for Suge. Had they been on the left side, all them bullets would have came in Suge. But they could only come through the right.
Yeah.
And why
Yeah.
Frank left the right side open, I'll never understand that.
Yeah, I don't get that neither. I don't get that neither. Some
Okay.
people believe that Frank was involved.
Well, Frank, a lot of stuff was strange when it comes to Frank, and I don't want to go back into these stories again.
Right.
Frank split on Tupac. I met Frank. Frank had gave his life to God. He was at a church that I fellowship with out there, and he left and didn't even tell Tupac that he was gone. Tupac had went and did the met with his niece because Janet Jackson refused to do it. Tupac went and met with his niece. All right, and then Frank split. Don't even tell him he gone. So they put Michael Moore on Tupac, and Tupac like hanging around Michael Moore. So Tupac didn't see Frank Alexander again until Las Vegas. And he was asking him, what you doing here, nigga? I don't know where you been. I thought we was friends. You would have told me you went on vacation. He'd go tell Reggie I want Michael Moore. Y'all don't pay that no attention. He didn't want to be around Frank Alexander because of that absence, and Frank Alexander didn't talk to him and tell him anything about it. So he was asking for Michael Moore. And I'm sure he told Suge. Suge, there's not enough guards, and that's why Suge said he called Reggie and told Reggie to send 4 or 5, maybe 6 more guards. And he said, these are the words of Suge you just heard. Suge said Reggie Wright Jr. refused to send more help to protect Tupac that night. It's like I'm playing this stuff, and it's like ain't nobody listening to it.
This is the facts. It's a guy named Reggie Wright Jr. who did security for Death Row with off-duty police officers or guys with a CCW. Reggie Wright Jr. told the security they can't carry firearms.
Reggie Wright told us not to carry any weapons.
Pac hated Reggie Wright Jr., so he had fired him. So after the fight, Tupac got into it with another guy. It was a big fight. I told all the security, I told everyone, send 4 or 5 guys extra to escort Tupac to the club. Reggie Wright Jr. refused to send the security guys, refused to show up. That wasn't a coincidence. It was a murder for hire hit. We was blocked in.
So he's telling you see, he refused to send the help, but then called them and gave them a different way to come. And so they go down that way, the police is waiting on them on bikes and want to go in their trunk. What the hell is he doing in their trunk? All right, he in their trunk because he want to drop that thing and then make that light stop.
Yeah. And another thing, somebody just said something in the comment section. They say they believe Frank was in on it because he didn't tell Suge or Pac that he didn't have his weapon.
None of them did. Michael Moore didn't either. None of them did because technically Suge Knight was not their boss. Their boss was Reggie Wright Jr.
Exactly.
That was their boss. And the reason why that was floated around from George Calisis years ago when I tried to talk to George Calisis was they didn't want these guys carrying guns in Vegas because they were not police officers. They were just people who had permission to carry guns in Los Angeles. Like, I can still carry here where I live. And anywhere in this state, I can carry guns anywhere I want to. All right. Okay. But that don't give me permission to cross state lines and go into another state and carry guns. Now I do go into another state, but they have open carry gun law. They don't even care. And the more guns you got, the happier they are. The state right next to us, I go over there because they're allowed. They don't care. They want everybody to carry guns. But I can't just go into another state, carry a gun. I'm going to a club where alcohol is going to be served. So according to George Calisis' office at that time, when I talked to them, they didn't want these guys to get busted by the police department for carrying guns, because just because you licensed in LA to carry a gun, that don't mean you can carry one in Los Angeles. Now, had there been police officers like Kevin Gaines who got there days before, he got there days before on a special assignment for Los Angeles, and ain't nobody said what that special assignment was. That special assignment was to shoot that BMW up.
Yeah, but let me ask you
Let me ask you this. Hold on. Why do you think Suge didn't take his BMW, but he drove Norris Anderson's BMW? That BMW that got shot was not Suge Knight's BMW. That was his brother-in-law's BMW. They had the same kind, same tires, same everything. That BMW that Suge and Pac was in belonged to his brother-in-law, Norris Anderson. God bless his soul. Mm-hmm. He died a few years ago in a nursing home.
I have no idea why, but I can tell you this. And it's something that nobody looked at, and I think everybody missed, and I need an answer to it. Okay, if Michael Moore got him over the radio, over Reggie radio, right? I would sure like to know exactly that time that happened. What and match it up with the time, because I know Suge had a radio in his car. So if he Michael Moore got him over Reggie radio, then I'm sure Suge heard it because it was right on the side of his car seat. So he should be able to identify the voice of who said got him. Because he had one. You can go
Bro,
look it up.
bro, when you in a gun battle like that, you ain't hearing nothing on no Nextel. You ain't trying to hear no music or anything. Your mind is racing. Suge's mind was probably racing, trying to say who was bad enough to actually try and take him out the box. And heart racing, blood coming down your head. You don't know if your head shot off or what it may be. I don't think Suge was in his right mind probably till a few days later on. And it was a while before Suge even found out that Reggie told him not to carry guns. So I'm gonna tell you something else you don't know. That night when they met at the at Suge's house, they were in there blaming Frank Alexander.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so somebody warned Frank Alexander don't come back. And Frank split in a white Mercedes Benz.
Yeah, I remember that.
And a lot of people wondering, how did he get a white Mercedes Benz? And so from that point forward, that's why he started to recording anybody who called, because Michael Moore called him and said, they want you dead, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
I got the
I
voice
remember
recording. Michael Moore said, Frank, they want you dead. He said, who want me dead? Death Row Records wants you dead. And Frank tried to plead his case for what, man? I drove the car that Pac told me to drive. He told me to drive Godada Jones's car and to drive the Outlaws. He told me not to get in the car because Frank wanted to get in the BMW with them, but Pac told him not to. And then Frank also explained that that car had zero gas in it.
Yeah.
Zero.
And he said, I don't know how we gonna make it. I don't know how we made it the way we made it at.
Yeah, so people ain't paying that no attention. So Frank started recording calls. We heard Reggie try and get Frank to lie, admit about that necklace, that chain necklace. We heard him ask that man to lie. You heard it. Frank recorded all that.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Go ahead.
I found out there's more tapes than the ones that R.J. Bond got by suing Frank Alexander's wife. There was more that he didn't get. But she's so scared because they didn't scare her that everybody want to kill her, that she ain't talking to nobody because she was encouraged by such a person. Somebody in her family told me that she won't talk about it. But there was a lot of things that wasn't got that would prove a lot of this too, still in the custody of Frank Alexander's wife.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe you solved it. I believe you solved it more than anybody. I just can't believe that whole Robert Surreal, that whole thing, the patents, and I don't believe none of that.
That's what Suge keeps saying, man. The narrative, they tried to change the narrative, but nobody's listening to him. You know, Suge don't talk a whole lot. He talks more now than he ever did. I guess after you being locked down, it's all you got to do. But before that, he wasn't talking. He kept saying that there was a plot after this all happened to change the narrative. Listen to what he's saying. They wanted to change it. I'm gonna play it again before we leave tonight. Listen to this. Listen to Suge Knight explain how they wanted to change the narrative.
Tupac Shakur left a New York hospital Thursday.
We was blocked in. It was more than one shooter. Only person know the truth, the real truth, is me and Tupac. He's not there to tell it. Only person knows is myself. But Reggie Wright Jr. tried to change the whole story of the narrative, what actually happened, and he was not there.
And that solves everything as far as I'm concerned. Suge has told you Reggie was not there. Why anybody listening to him, I don't know.
Yeah.
He has no more to tell you than anybody else online because he was not there. And we speaking a lot from paperwork and stuff and from the things that the other people who was there said. Who am I going to believe, Frank Alexander or Michael Moore, who was there? I'm going to believe them.
Yeah.
Who am I going to believe, Gaddafi? Gaddafi went to the police station to tell who shot at that BMW, and they said, okay, we want you to come back. What police department, when a murder happened, tell you, okay, well, you go home and we'll get to you later. You can come back and tell us who done it.
Especially if they know the person live in another state, they gonna keep them there.
Hey man, listen to what I'm saying. Here's Gaddafi. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you who done it. Yes, sir. I know who did it. I don't care anybody say they shot my brother. Say, okay, well, we want you to go home and we're gonna get in contact with you. And they wait 2 whole months and then they shoot him in the eye when he sneak home. He don't even tell nobody he coming there. But when he get to his girlfriend's house, Mutah's cousin waiting for him to shoot him in the eye.
And yeah, and Yasmin said that Reggie took her son there. And I find it funny that I heard that Mutah cousin was a Crip, a New Jersey Crip.
Reggie took all them guys there for their interviews, and Las Vegas should have stopped him because he wasn't a lawyer or whatever. He had no business. That's intimidation. They're not going to tell the truth. They scared too. They just seen the most powerful rapper in the world get gunned down. If he can get gunned down, you thinking definitely I can get gunned down too.
Yeah, and I think Reggie was doing that was damage control what he was doing. That was a classic case of damage control.
A lot of damage control. What he was trying to control was not letting Mary and Suge Knight find out that he told the bodyguards not to carry guns.
Yeah. And then he snitched on Suge a week later after that he was riding around with gangbangers as securities as security. And they had guns on them and drugs. That's in the paperwork.
Yep.
Yeah. That Reggie's something else, boy.
He wanted Suge Knight's identity. I mean, listen to this guy talk about Death Row Records like he started it. He don't even have the common sense to recognize it. He ain't starting no damn Death Row Records. That was Mary and Suge Knight, Harry O, and Lydia Harris, and David Kenner. All he did was other people. Norris got messed up. Miss Chalet got messed up. He chose all of them before he chose him, and it got down to there was just nobody else there to do the business part. Then he chose Reggie. And what did Reggie do? Take all the Death Row stuff and transfer most of it in his name.
Right. Yeah, he sure enough did. Yep. And I believe he the one, man. I definitely know. I ain't letting David Kenner off the hook. He's on the hook for real.
Only reason why David Kenner is not here is because David Kenner hasn't said a word in 30 years.
Yeah, and he ain't gonna say nothing.
Nope, and that's why he's not here. He said all these people you see call internet snitching. All on the internet, snitching, talking, really want to be a part of a trial and know they ain't got no business in the trial. They don't call Gene Deal for Puffy, but they call Gene Deal for Tupac.
That's crazy.
He was there when Biggie got shot, but they don't call him up in Puffy's trial to get a description of the kind of person Puffy is. He goes up there on his own, but they don't want him. But they calling him down here to talk about Tupac and what's going on in Tupac's case. And now, if that don't tell you why the case is screwed up from day one, when people, if you go investigate Biggie's case, you should investigate Biggie's case. You shouldn't be involved with Tupac. If you're going to investigate Tupac's case, you should investigate Tupac's case. Greg Kading was not hired to solve Tupac's case. He was hired to find out who shot the notorious B.I.G. or to screw it up so bad like he did that Valletta Wallace's lawsuit wouldn't go through. And that's what happened. They main witness they relied on was Kevin Hackey. And Kevin Hackey got up there talking about he had mental trouble and he had memory problems and he was on psychotropic drugs and stuff like that for depression. And they had to halt Biggie's case. And that was a lot of money that was shoved out and they didn't bring it back. But I've heard through the grapevine that they're still going to take Los Angeles to court for the murder of the B.I.G.
Yeah, they got to. They better keep going. They better keep going. I wouldn't let it go neither.
Y'all talking about 30 years for...
We know the cops did it.
Y'all talking about 30...
cops did it.
Y'all talking about 30 years for Pac. It's been 30 years for Big, too. And they got well low enough evidence to arrest somebody in Biggie's case.
Yeah. And I believe Kevin Gaines was dressed up as the Nation of Islam and shot big, and that's why Gene Deal and Lil C's keep saying the Muslim shot big.
No, I think if you think of the time of night it was, and you were inside of a car, you can't really see that clearly, that clear. You know, I think Gene Deal wasn't there. Puffy and them blew the light and went on about their business, man. That's part of the reason why Lil Caesar don't coming back up that story, because Lil Caesar sitting directly behind Biggie. How come he couldn't describe the shooter?
Yeah, Gene Deal said, Lil C said Big got killed by a Muslim.
Okay, Lil C's ain't told nobody that, like, of any caliber, police or anything like that.
Yeah.
The sketch, the sketch that Lil C's gave, that looked just like Kevin Gaines.
Yeah. And Kevin Gaines could have been
Amir Muhammad don't look like Kevin Gaines.
I know.
And they found the Impala in David Mack's garage with the radios and everything that they used, and the bullets.
Yeah.
And they could have arrested him on that alone, and they didn't.
Yep.
Then my man went rob the bank for $722,000 to show you that he do got that kind of character, that he would do such a thing like that. We are not talking about good guys, man. These guys are part of the Wild Wild West.
Yeah. Yeah, you right.
Suge said it best. Crooked cops did this. Crooked cops is what Suge said.
This is the facts. There's a guy named Reggie Wright Jr. who did security for Death Row with off-duty police officers or guys with a CCW. Reggie Wright Jr. told the security they can't carry firearms.
Reggie Wright told us not to carry any weapons.
Pac hated Reggie Wright Jr., so he had fired him. So after the fight, Tupac got into it with another guy. It was a big fight. I told all the security, I told everyone, send 4 or 5 guys extra to escort Tupac to the club. Reggie Wright Jr. refused to send the security guys, refused to show up. That wasn't a coincidence. It was a murder for hire hit. We was blocked in. It was more than one shooter. Reggie Wright Jr. and Michael Moore in the car. They get on the radio, and they say, hey, got him.
I heard something over the Nextels that we all carry for security, and what I heard was, got him.
A lot of crooked cops got involved in hip-hop. Those same crooked cops, they caused the biggest 2 rappers in hip-hop history, Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls, their life.
These crooked cops caused the biggest hip-hop artists to be killed. Suge just told you who did it. On that note, One Nation.
That's what we see Jay-Z has done. That's what we see Puff has done. The music don't become how you pay the bills. It's a lot of pressure off of it. You got other things bringing in income, you can make music.
This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face. Like what the fuck is going on? Who told you that song and did you know all along? And why did your bitch sell that painting 2 weeks after he was gone? I'ma tell you what it feels like. It feels a little fishy. Feels like something's going on ever since that John Legend song and college prediction of a Grammy. If you ask me, I can't stand him. Seems a little weird. Question number 1, why is there no blood? Question number 2, Sam left in the AM is true, but you're talking about the shits all up in the afternoon. Don't trip, we're gonna find out the truth soon. Who did what to who? Did they plan to eat the chili fries or was it just a surprise? Can you see the lies of witness in a cowboy's eyes? Are we gonna just sit here and forget? Are we gonna ride like Nip said? It's a little weird that the judge quit, handing out immunities like candy makes me sick. I got a lot of unanswered questions like, why's the footage all grit and I can't see shit? Who the fuck is that white man in that white BMW? Probably was the FBI. Yeah, I noticed that white guy, and I noticed the car wasn't in the pictures when they showed them afterwards. They thought we would forget, they got that shit backwards. They weren't expecting me to drop this track and raise all these questions with my Mac words. I'm really mobbing through LA smoking backwoods. I've been doing this shit all my life. TMC, AMI. You might just see an empty parking lot when you ride by. Well, me, I see way more. I see an independently owned store. I see the community taking power back, whether you're white, Mexican, Asian, or black. As long as you're not blue. Good ones, there might be a few, but from my life experience, I'm like, fuck that. I'm not defending Eric, but what's the fucking delay? They requested a quick trial, it's been over 800 days. They try to distract us in so many clever, creative ways. Yeah, you got your Grammy, and now you're a billionaire. But what about the families that are still living there? Seems a little unfair, just a little something to compare. I never seen a fireman wearing a bulletproof vest. Yes, the shit to me seems a little suspect. The shit's a little weird. Crisis actors taking away our fathers, making our child some bastards, killing creative men and women for their masters. The waves that Nip rode in, you didn't know when it began. A bunch of new chapters, you didn't think about what would happen after. We would put the pieces together on your transparent bullshit. I can see right through it, like the clear blue sky in the LA sunny weather, where the palm trees swing side to side and we ride together on a white horse or a double R hearse in a foreign car. Either way, you gotta be on guard, because they're on tap for anyone who's brown or black with tats. Everybody sees it, but nobody wants to attack. It's sad if you ask, we all gotta blast back. We're in the game, though we can't touch the ball. Seems a little unfair if you ask me, that's all. So take your ignorant ass to YouTube and type in Tanique Reviews to get the real news. We're doing the shit for justice, not views. Sharing knowledge and coming together, that's the real tool. He tried to lead us to the lake, so don't sleep on the knowledge that he gave to me and you. He wanted us to learn from his mistakes, so with our new knowledge, good decisions we could make. And also one thing I wanted to say myself, they killed Dr. Sebi because he was teaching health. Assassins, they come in all shapes and sizes, big booties, hips and thighs. Oh, you're Diddy's girl, right? Oh yeah, John Legend, some things happen at your video shoot. I got a couple questions for you. All those strings you pulled, you still can't make a rap hit. You punk ass little bitch, you probably got a little dick. All the shit that you have to did. This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face. This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face.